Hi guys, thanks for joining in. Today we're going to talk turkey. We've got Thanksgiving coming up here shortly, and so we're going to smoke 2 turkeys, and we're going to do them different ways. One we're just going to smoke the traditional way. We're just going to throw it in the smoker whole as it is, and the other one we're going to spatchcock it. And what spatchcocking means is you flip the bird over, you cut the backbone out so that the bird can lay flat on the grill of the smoker, and we're going to do a little test and see which one comes out better. Alright, so we got our 2 turkeys. These ones have been fully de-thawed. It took about 3.5 days to get them unthawed. What I did is I put them in the fridge, just in this cookie pan or cookie sheet, and it took about 3.5 days. So just know that if you're going to smoke a turkey, you can't just go to the store, grab it, and throw it in the smoker that same day, because chances are you're going to get a frozen bird, and these take time to get unthawed. So if you get in a pinch and you need to do it quicker, you can take and put it in the sink and fill it full of cold water, and that'll speed up the process a little bit. But just know that these birds take a little while to get de-thawed, so just keep that in your plans. Okay, we've got our birds taken out of the packages, and so before we get to smoking them, we're going to brine these birds. And what brine does is it helps the meat absorb just some extra flavor profiles that you normally wouldn't get, and helps the bird also retain moisture. So it's an important part to it. You don't have to brine your bird, but I would highly recommend it. And the rule of thumb is to go about 1 hour per pound. So these turkeys are about 13 pounds, so we're gonna get our brine solution mixed up and get them in the brine overnight, and let them sit in there for about 12-13 hours before we put them on the smoker. So I'll show you how we make a brine solution. There's store-bought options. You can just go to the store and buy one that's already made up and just mix it with water. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own brine solution tonight. And so I'll show you how we do that. That'll be the next step. All right, we're ready to make our rub. And I just want to show you real quickly how I do that. It's actually really simple. So what I've got right now is I've got a gallon of water that I've brought to a boil on the stove. And so then I'm just going to add in the ingredients, get them all mixed together, let this cool down, and then we'll put the birds inside a cooler, dump this over the top of them, and then add an extra gallon of water and put ice on top to keep them cold. So anyway, let's show you what we're doing to make our brine here. So first thing I'm going to do is we're just going to dump in, this is I've already got it measured out, this is a 1.5 cups of salt. So I'll dump that in. I've got 1 cup of brown sugar. Dump that in. This is a 1/4 cup of the rub, the same rub that we're going to put on our turkeys before we put them in the smoker. And I'll show you what kind of rub that is. This is called Plowboy's Yardbird rub. It's great on poultry, so you can use whatever type of rub you're using on your bird. I highly recommend this kind. It's like I said, it's great for poultry. So 1/4 cup of that. 1 cup of honey. Get all that out of there. And then we've got 1 cup of molasses. A little thick. Okay. So now all we're going to do is just whisk this together and blend it until everything's melted and it's all combined. So we've got everything mixed together, and everything seems to be dissolved well. Like I say, we've got our water boiling here. So the next step is to get this cooled down, and then we'll dump it on our turkey. And you don't want to take and dump hot brine on top of a cold turkey, so you've got to get this cooled down. You can either put it inside the fridge, get it cooled down, or even put it in another container and fill it full of ice to get it cooled down quickly. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that, and you can really smell the different flavor profiles that we put in here with the molasses and the rub and the honey. I think this is going to be a really great brine for our turkey. Okay, we've got our brine solution made, and it's cooled down. So now it's time to get the birds inside the brine. So what I've done is I've taken both of them and put them inside a cooler. Then we're going to dump the brine solution on top. And if the birds aren't fully submerged, I'll add just a little bit more water to top them off and make sure that they're fully submerged in the water. So let's get the brine solution poured inside the cooler. Okay, so here we go. Since we've got 2 birds, I actually mixed up 2 gallons of this solution. You want 1 gallon of the brine concentrate, and then also 1 gallon of water. So like I say, I mixed up 2 of these. I'm not sure if we're going to need both of them, but we'll dump them in and see how they look. So here goes the first gallon. And here is the second. Pretty much covered them up, but I think I'm going to add just 1 more gallon of water to it just to dilute that brine solution just a little bit. Okay, here's a half a gallon. And then we'll do 1 more of these. Okay, and here's the other half gallon. There we go, that should be plenty of solution. You can see the birds are fully submerged now. Okay, just about ready to go into the fridge. But before I do that, I'm going to add in about 6 bay leaves just in top of our solution, and then about 2 tablespoons of peppercorns. And I'm just going to dump in a little bit more ice, even though everything's cold. Better safe than sorry, so I want to make that water as cold as possible. So now we're going to get ready to put it in the fridge. Well, that's heavy. Set it right up inside here. Slide it in. If you don't have a fridge that's big enough to hold a cooler like that, you could just fill it full of ice and leave it out inside the garage or something like that. Put the lid on the cooler. But we lucked out that cooler's fits inside our fridge just fine, so we're going to go that route. Anyway, it's going to be in the brine solution for about 12 hours, so we'll pick back up tomorrow after these things have been soaking for, like I said, about 12-13 hours. Okay, it's been about 12-13 hours since we brined our turkeys last night, and it's just about time to get them on the smoker. So I just wanted to show you guys real quickly the 2 different setups that I'm going to be using. So for our traditional bird, I'm going to be using my reverse flow smoker. It has the firebox on the side there, and then there's the cooking chamber. And then for the spatchcocked bird, I'm going to use my ugly drum smoker. So the spatchcock bird's not going to take as long as the traditional bird, so what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and get the reverse flow smoker up to temperature. Alright, we got our first turkey out of the brine, and what I did is I took it over to the sink and just washed off all the excess brine and made sure there was nothing inside the cavity. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just trim up a little bit of this leftover skin from the neck right here, and this little bit of excess meat right here that we don't want, that'll just burn as it's in the smoker. So just take a knife and cut that off. And like I say, there's quite a bit of this that's extra that we don't need. Just cut that off and get rid of that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and coat the bird in olive oil. That'll help to rub the stick, and then it's also going to help the skin get crispy when we put it in the smoker. So I'm just going to give it a light coating of olive oil, rub this all over, and then once I get this on, we'll apply our rub. We'll get it in the bird. So like I said, it doesn't take much. Just coat them all up good. Okay, so here's this side, and then I'm just going to take and apply my rub. I go pretty heavy on it, just because turkey doesn't have a lot of flavor to begin with, so I want to get as much flavor in here as possible. You can see how that rub just sticks really well to the bird because we put that olive oil on there. Just go ahead and coat up everything, everywhere you can get it. Flip it over. And then don't forget about the inside of the bird. Get a bunch down inside there. Okay, then I'm just going to flip it over and do the same thing to the other side. Okay, now that we've got the bird all rubbed down, the next step is we're going to inject this with some roasted garlic injection that I bought from the store. It's made by Cajun Injector. Uses stuff quite a bit. So on this bird, we're going to go with the garlic and herb, and then the bird that we're going to spatchcock, I'm just going to do actual Creole butter and inject them. So I kind of want to see if there's, you know, the injection gives them a different flavor or not. But this definitely also helps give more moisture to the inside of the bird. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and get this shaken up good. Go ahead and open it up. And start injecting this bird up with this butter. It smells really good. So I think this is going to work great for this bird. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just start injecting it into the breast here. As I do that, you can see it, the breast plump up and take all of that, all this injection that we're putting in it. I just do it about every inch. Like I say, you can see it swell up really well. So it's all over the breast on both sides. And then you can take it, get it anywhere, get it inside get it in the legs here. Anywhere that you can get flavor in here, go for it. Stick it back here into the thigh section. Like I say, you can just see that swell up and take all that injection. So it's going to give this bird some great flavor. Okay. Flip this over and get the other side. Alright, this guy should be ready for the smoker. Okay guys, smoker's up to 275 degrees. That's right where we want it, so it's time to get this bird on the smoker. So let's go grab it. Okay, here we go. Let's get this guy on the smoker. Put him right in the middle. With this smoker, the smoke comes out of the firebox, goes underneath this baffle plate that I have, and it turns, and then it's sucked out by the smokestack on this side. So I'm going to set the bird with the cavity facing this way, just so as the smoke goes through, it passes through the inside of the bird. Hope that gives a little more of a smoky flavor on the inside. So got that on now. I'm just going to put in my temperature probes. I'm going to put one down here in the thickest part of the breast. You want to make sure you don't hit any bones. Don't go too shallow. And then the other one I'm going to take and stick down in the thigh area down here. And what we're shooting for is 165 degrees in the breast and 175 degrees in the thigh. So I'm estimating this bird's going to take about 3.5 to 4 hours. So we're just going to go ahead and close the door, and we'll check back in a little while and see how it's doing. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is the type of wood I'm using, and so I'm going with apple. So all I'm doing is, as I need it, I just periodically just take a chunk of apple wood and toss it on my coals, and that's the flavor of smoker going with this apple wood. Okay, so we're going to get ready to do the other turkey, the spatchcock style one, and we're going to do it in my ugly drum smoker. So I just kind of wanted to show you how this smoker works. What it does, it has a basket you put all the charcoals in, and I've mixed some wood chunks inside there, and then I have my chimney full of lit charcoals, and so I'm just going to dump those on top, and as these other coals slowly catch fire, it'll just slowly burn down. But these smokers, you can go a long time on these, so and you could go 12, 16 hours on just one charcoal basket full of charcoal, so they're really efficient. But anyway, so I'll just show you how we dump these on here, and then we'll get them inside the smoker. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm just going to use, since that's hot, use this to lift it up. Set it down inside the smoker. Just like that. Then I'm going to take a couple more chunks of apple and toss them on there. And with this, I've got a grate that I'm going to set down on top that I can also take and set this steel plate on top of, so that I have an indirect cook, kind of deflects the flames around the meat so that the bottom doesn't get burnt. And then this rack right here is my cooking rack. So we'll set that up on top, just like so. Put the lid on it and let it get up to temperature. Okay, we're getting ready to do our other bird. This is the one that we're going to spatchcock, where we cut out the backbone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this bird over. Just like before, I'm going to cut off all this excess skin that we don't need, especially for this one. And so you can see, here's the backbone. So what I'm going to do is take my knife and just make a cut right along the backbone here. What this is going to do is just give me a guide for the shears that I'll use to actually cut it out. These bones are so thick, it'd be hard to do with just a knife. Okay, then I'm just going to take a pair of shears, start here in the back, just start snipping through all these bones to remove the backbone of this bird. Okay, there's one side. Flip it over, go this other way. we go, we got the backbone removed. Cut out some of this extra skin. Okay, now that I got the backbone removed, I just took and flipped the bird over, and you can see it lays pretty flat right now, but to get it to go just a little bit flatter, I'm just going to take a push down, flat on it there, and it's pretty much ready to go. So now you can see this is how it will go on the smoker. It'll sit like this with the skin side up, but by doing that, we now expose all this meat that's inside here, and we get extra smoke flavor on there, and plus we can get all of our rub on this side of the meat and get some extra flavor to it. So like I say, I've never done a turkey this way. I've done chickens before. It worked out really well, so I'm really excited to try this one out and see how it does. So the next step we're going to do, just like we did on the other one, is we're going to coat it in olive oil. So just give it that coat again, just like we did, a light coat. Take and rub it all over the bird. Okay, cover it up good with that. And I'm actually going to take off this glove so that I can grab my my rub, which I should have done with that olive oil, but I'll just wipe it off when I'm done. So I'm just going to take the same rub we used on the other bird, just sprinkle it all over the inside here. Give it a good coating. More olive oil. Rub them down. And apply the rub on the top. Okay, just like we did on the other bird, we're going to inject it again, only this time it's not garlic herb, it's just Creole butter. Just give it a really good buttery flavoring. Really excited to see how this turkey turns out. I think it's going to be really good. And I really like to be able to taste the smoke on my barbecue, so I think this one, like I say, should have more of a smoky flavor than the other bird, and it's going to take less time. So if you're in a pinch, this is a great way to do it. Okay, this guy's ready to go on the smoker. Okay, this spatchcocked bird is ready to go on the smoker. So let's get it up, get it opened up. Smoker's at 300 degrees right now. Kind of hot, so I use a rag to pull this lid off with. Set it down there and grab the bird. Hear the sizzle. I'm actually going to take and just sprinkle a little bit more of my rub on top here. Knock some of it off when I was transporting it. Okay, there we go. Put the lid back on, and this thing will be done, I'm thinking, in about 2.5 hours. Okay, so we're about 2 hours into this other bird. Smoker's still holding temperature at 275 degrees, so thought we'd just open it up and show you guys what it looks like. All right, there you go. See, it's starting to get a nice brown color to it. Looks like it's taking the smoke well. I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer. How it is, I want it to get a little bit browner, and when it gets to the right color of brown that I want it to be, I'm going to take a piece of tin foil and just put it over the top like a tent, and that will keep it from getting too dark. If you left this on the smoker the whole time without covering it, it'd come out really black. So kind of want it to be just a little darker brown than that. So anyway, that's 2 hours in. Okay, so it's been about 3 hours on these birds, and my eye grill here is saying 165 on the breast and 167 on the thighs. So I just wanted to double check this with my thermopin and make sure that I didn't get that probe either too shallow or poke through the meat, because it does seem a little bit quick that they are at that temperature. So just gonna double check and see what we got here. Like I say, it's just about at that color of brown that I want. So probably after we get done testing this, put some tin foil around it and keep it that color. So let's test and see what we got here. Let's see, 170. Okay, here we go, the deepest part of the breast. So really it's about 156 right now is what this is reading. So that makes sense. About 156, so another 10 degrees and we're there. You can see it's actually really moist bird. So looking forward to this. I'm actually going to take and stick that probe in right there, just because I get a better reading a little bit deeper down in the breast. So I'd say about another 45 minutes to an hour, it'll be done. Okay, like I said, this bird's about the color that I want it to be, so I'm just going to take a piece of tin foil and make a tint over the bird so it doesn't get any browner than that. So all you do is just take the tin foil, lightly put it over the top. This is like a tint, basically. You don't need to put it down tight, but just lightly set that over the top of the bird, and that'll keep it from getting any darker as far as the skin goes. Okay, our traditional bird is done, so we're going to pull it off the smoker and take it inside, and just keep this aluminum foil tent over the top of it so that it can rest for about 15-20 minutes before we slice it. Good and juicy. Okay, our bird's done. We're gonna slice into it and see what we got. Sorry for the background noise, we got guests over here. You see it's plenty juicy. Give it a taste test. All right, I think it's a winner. Okay, here's our other turkey, the spatchcock style. And as you can see, you can just pull this apart by the quarters, not even connected together. So that's pretty awesome. But let's go and slice into this one and see what we got as well. Skin is definitely crispier on this one than the others, but it is plenty juicy. No doubt about that. Ooh, and that's hot. That one's good too. I think that one's actually my favorite out of the two. Okay, just want to do a quick little review of the two different turkeys that we smoked. Like I said, we did the traditional style in my offset reverse flow smoker, and the spatchcock we did in the ugly drum smoker. And if I had to pick out of the two, I would definitely say the spatchcock was better. One, it took less time, skin was crispier, and it seemed like it was juicier overall than the other bird. And don't get me wrong, this one was plenty good, the traditional style, but
say if I had to do it again, I'd probably go straight with the Spatchcock every time. It was easier to carve as well. So that's my pick for a winner. Everybody inside, all of our guests, they liked them both, but I think if they chose, they would go with the Spatchcock as well. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching my video. If you wouldn't mind, go down and give it a thumbs up, the comments below, and please subscribe to my barbecue page, Backyard Barbecue 101, and I'll keep doing more videos like this and hopefully be able to help everyone learn how to barbecue as I have. Again, thanks for watching.